Hi, in this video I will show you how to use DateTime filters in pandas data frame. This is the data we will work with. Column A shows the date and time a particular transaction happened. Column B shows the item sold, and column C shows the price at which it was sold. For the purposes of this video, we will mostly focus on column A. First, we need to import the data into a Jupyter notebook. And I have the first cell ready to be run so that we can import the data into a variable t. I'll execute this cell using Control Enter. There we go. We now have the data imported into variable t. Let's check its type before we go ahead. Okay, so we can see that it is a pandas data frame object. Now let's start applying our filters. So let's say that we want all transactions that happened on or after 7th January 2019. So this is how we apply filters. We specify the column name. Okay, let's run this. There we go. Now we see that we have the last 3 transactions loaded because our filter specified greater than equal to 7 January 2019. Now let's say that we do not want the last one. We only want these 2 transactions. So in that case, we'll add another condition to our filter to stop after this date. So let's see how to do it. We use the ampersand symbol because we are adding a new condition, and then we specify the condition. We mention the column name again, less than equal to the second date. Now let's see if this works. No, it does not work. And the reason is that we have not specified each condition into its own parentheses. This might seem like a minor thing, but many people get stuck here, so please keep this in mind. There we go. Now, this code block ran, but we did not get these 2 transactions that we wanted. We only got the first one, but not the second one. And the reason is when we specify just the date, it assumes that the time is 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. But if we use 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds, then this transaction will not load because it happened after the 0th hour. So if we want all transactions that happened on 14th June 2019, we have to specify the hours as well. In this case, I'll put 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. Now let's run this again. There we go. Now we got both the transactions that we were looking for. Now, let's say we want all transactions that happened in the year 2015. So for that, we use a different attribute, which is the year attribute, and then we specify 2015 in our filter. Oops. There we go. Let's run this. Okay, I forgot to take this parentheses off. Let me take this off. And there we go. We got all transactions from 2015. What if we want all transactions that happened in the month of October? So then we use the month attribute. We specify 10 for October, and then we run the cell again. And we got all transactions regardless of the year that happened in the month of October. What about if we want all transactions that happened on the 14th day of any month? For that, we use the day attribute, and then we run this cell. There we go. All transactions that happened on the 14th day are pulled. We can use similar attributes for hours, minutes, and seconds. Let me show that to you quickly. For hours, we use the hour attribute. If we want all transactions that happened on the second hour of any day, this is how we do it. Then we run the cell and we get all transactions that happened on the second hour. Similarly, for minutes, we use the minute attribute. Let's say we want transactions that happened on the 34th minute of any hour. We run it and we get any transactions that happened on the 34th minute. Similarly, for seconds, we use the second attribute. Let's say we want all transactions that happened on the 8th second of any minute of any hour of any day. So we use the second attribute, run the cell, and we get all transactions that happened on the 8th second of any minute of any hour of any day. All right. Now let's try to do something a little bit more difficult. Let's say we want any transaction that happened after 21:30 hours or 9:30 p.m. on any day. So let's try to put in the first part of this condition. Let's use the hour attribute, and you put in greater than equal to because we're looking for after 2100 hours. And then we run this, and we get a result. So in these three transactions, we see that the second transaction happened before 21:30 hours. Third transaction happened before 21:30 hours. So if we apply this filter correctly, then we should get just the first row as results. So let's see if we can add the minute condition separately. We use the dt.minute attribute, and we want after the 30th minute. So I've put in greater than equal to 30. Let's see if this works. It looks like we are getting the hour after 2100 hours, and we're getting the minute after the 30th minute. So let's see if we are getting what we want. We run this and we get an error. And the reason is that we did not specify each individual condition in a parentheses. So this is important to remember. Now we run this and we still do not get the one transaction that we were expecting to get over here. This transaction happened at 22:28 hours or 10:28 p.m., which definitely is after 9:30 p.m., but we did not get that in our output. And the reason is that even though the hour was greater than 21 or 9 p.m., the minute was 28, which is not greater than the 30th minute. So we need to find a different way to apply this filter. And for that, we might need to modify this condition to specify an end time. So let's say the end time is 23:59 or 11:59 p.m. Now we specify a start time, which is 21:30 hours, and we add 0 for seconds, and we specify an end time, which is 23:59 hours and 0 seconds. Now, even though this looks like time, it is actually a string. So we need to convert it into a DateTime object. And for that, we actually need to import DateTime. And this is how we do it. From DateTime, import DateTime. Now that we have imported DateTime, we can use the DateTime class and a function strp time to convert this string into DateTime. And we need to specify a format for this input. And that format is %h for hours, %m for minutes, and %s for seconds. And we'll do the same thing for our end time as well. DateTime.strp time, and we specify the same format, %h for hours, %m for minutes, %s for seconds. Now, we'll put in our filter, but this filter will be slightly different from the ones we have used so far. We still specify the column name, in this case date time. We still use the .dt attribute, but because we are filtering only on time, we are going to use the .time attribute within it. And to look within our start and end times, we are going to use another function called between. And then we specify our start and end times. Now remember, the strpTime function returns a datetime object to our start and end variables. So because we are only looking for time here, we need to use the time function to get the time from these datetime objects. Okay, now let's see if we are getting the correct output. There we go. Now we got the one transaction that happened after 9:30 p.m. on any day. Okay, so those are all the filters I wanted to show you today. If you like this video, remember to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for future videos on Python, data science, etc. Thank you.